And now, yes, Mr. Azeem Khan is with us, and he has a question or a comment. So please,
I have question
yeah, you have a question. That's great. You have a question to
to
Zamir,
Zamir sir.
Zamir sir. Please go ahead.
How are you, sir? You are fine. We interacted in social media mostly with you, so this is a good opportunity to ask the direct question from you. So I wanted to ask that, as we all know, that China is the closest and oldest partner of Pakistan in this region. But when I see the impact of the Chinese progress in Central Asia, in Middle East, in Southeast Asia, or in Pacific region, I feel that we are very slow in getting benefit from our closest neighbor, who is always willing to share his experience for the betterment of its neighboring region or for the world today. So who is responsible for this failure? Because I consider it failure when I see the impact of Chinese progress in, especially in Middle East and in Central Asia, how they are doing progress with the help of Chinese cooperation. We are very slow in this race or in this process. So who is responsible for this failure? Is it only political parties or a ruling elite, or as a society we are responsible for that?
I think that I should blame myself first. We are the elder generation. Whatsoever wrong is happening in this country, I'm equally responsible. I was in a very good position. I was a educator, and I was in a position to play much better role, positive role. But unfortunately, Pakistan is facing multiple problems. China has a strong will. Chinese leadership is very sincere with Pakistan. They wanted to help Pakistan, but unfortunately, we are not the beneficiary of Chinese rise. The reason behind is that we are lack of capacity and lack of will also. The capacity means that we have damaged, destroyed the state institutions. Basically, all of the political parties, whenever they come to the government, they induct the people based on their political affiliation. They were following the nepotism instead of merit. So they have appointed on the key position the people loyal to them, slave to them, I say, not loyal to them, slave to them. So they were looking after the leader's personal interest, not the national interest. Unfortunately, we are a nation who has put our personal interest before the interest of the nation. Very, very unfortunate. If you see, most of our senior ruling elite, after retirement, they settle down in the Western world. I don't want to blame any institution, but in the civil bureaucracy also, around 30,000 government senior officials having the dual nationality are having the foreign nationality. That means that they are serving their masters of the future, the Western world. They're not serving the Pakistan's national interest. Most of them, they send their children abroad in the Western world to study, and then they get their nationality, multiple visa, or long-term visa, work permit, and etc. Once they are retired, they shift to that country. That means their loyalty with this country is questionable. I mean, if a senior most official of government of Pakistan has interest settling down in one of the Western country, he will not work hard. He will not think about the future of Pakistan. He will focus on the future of that Western country where he want to settle and his children want to settle down. I mean, this is the major problem. Capacity building, mean that we have appointed on the key position, who are the decision makers, who are the policy makers, they are incompetent and loyal to their leaders, political leaders, not to the nation, which has damaged the institution. For example, the CPAC project, most of the projects under CPAC are not well conceived, not well planned, not well negotiated. Even that we have no capacity to conceive the projects which are our priority. We do not know what to do. And then we do not bargain with the Chinese in the appropriate manner. I mean, I don't want to say all of them, but few of them are corrupt and they are looking after their own personal interest. And the whole nation has to sacrifice for that one.
Yes.
I mean, we are offending the Chinese. We have frustrated the Chinese in many ways. I don't want to give example and quotes, but we have embarrassed the Chinese. They come here to help us. They come here to develop our country. And in return, how we are behaving with them, sometimes I feel embarrassment also.
Taking for granted, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. Because it is not their country. Because these officials will leave this country after retirement and they will settle down somewhere else. So they don't bother about this country. This is our fault. This is not the Chinese fault. Chinese are very sincere. Chinese leadership is willing to help Pakistan. I mean, it is the only one country in the world who is helping Pakistan. Really, American might have very good technology. American might have big economy, but they will not help Pakistan. They have decided they will prioritize India. If they have money, they will give to India. If they have technology, they will give to India. If they have any favor, they will give to India, not the Pakistan. So for us, there is no other option except China. And if we China, frustrate China, then of course, definitely we will be the victim. We will be suffering. This country will suffer. This nation will suffer.
Yes.
I'm not talking about the few individuals who are the beneficiary of the Western world, but majority of this country, the masses, the public, the common citizen of this country is the victim.
Yes.
Unfortunately, this is happening, and we are not as good as beneficiary of Chinese rise as the other nations are. With due apology, were in a position to get maximum benefit out of China, but we are loser. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Thank you.
But we will achieve it, sir, in future.
Inshallah,
And
inshallah, inshallah.
I don't assume your generation as because your generation has kept this strong relation alive and intact from last seven decades. So I don't assume your generation has failed. The circumstances were, I think, the circumstances has to blame. But we are very determined, sir, as a representing as a generation after your generation.
Inshallah,
So we are very determined that we will do everything in our capacity to benefit as a citizen of Pakistan, and we will think for the interest of Pakistan, and we will try our best to get benefit from the Chinese progress, sir.
Inshallah, inshallah.
Thank you. Do we have another question? Anyone wants to have a question? Sharafat Hussain is having a question. He has raised his hand. Please go ahead, Sharafat Hussain, and to whom you will be asking your question.
Sir, my question is to Sir Zamir Ahmad. Basically, I have two questions, sir. My first question is that, sir, why America does not invest or helps Pakistan just like China? Why America does not directly invest in railways, roads, and other infrastructures, rather using NGOs? Then my second question is that, sir, our Islamic scholars says. Our Islamic scholars say that America means Western want to establish Western culture in Pakistan. Therefore, they help Pakistan through NGOs, and we can see that NGOs give more important to women than as compared to men. because according to our Islamic scholar, because they want to separate indecent in Pakistan, means they want to establish liberalism in Pakistan. So is it true, sir?
The first question is very interesting. Why America don't want to invest in Pakistan? In fact, it is a different approach. The American approach that it is the transactional relationship between Pakistan and America. They pay us money and we do it. It is just master and the servant relation. If you ask your servant to cook food and you pay him money. If you ask him polish shoes, you pay him money. If you go ask him to clean floor, you pay him money. That is what Americans believe. They pay money to Pakistan and Pakistan serve them. The day when they think there is no work for Pakistan to do, they will not pay money. They will not invest in Pakistan. This is one aspect. Actually, India was in the Russian bloc during the Cold War era from 47 till 91. After 91, when the Russia disintegrated and become a weaker country, the Indian felt that there is no benefit to be friend of Russia, then they try to be friend of America. In 90s and in 2000, the Indian hired Americans, congressmen, senators, media person, business tycoons, and many other ways to do a lobby for pro-India in America. And finally, they convinced Americans that India is more useful for America. The first time President Obama has changed his policy in 2005 or 2006 maybe, that India should be more important to American interests than Pakistan. Then the American started to keep distance from Pakistan and getting closer to India. Then they have signed several memorandum of understanding agreements with India regarding defense, and they have become the major defense partners, the strategic partners. So of course, once American believed that India is more important for them, they will not help Pakistan. They will invest in India. They will extend their economic assistance to India. They will make transfer of technology to India. They will supply modern weapon to India. In comparison to Pakistan, India is their strategic partner. This is one aspect. And also another aspect, Americans feel the rise of China is a threat to their hegemony. So they want to contain China. They want to resist China. They want to resist the peaceful rise of China. So they want to isolate China. They are helping India to grow a stage where it can help America to contain China or counter China in one way. The other way, that they wanted to harm Pakistan, that Pakistan should be not able to help China. They try to understand. On one hand, they are helping India to counter China. On the other hand, they are countering Pakistan, harming Pakistan to not to help China. So on both ways, they are trying to contain China. So American will not help Pakistan. They will not invest in Pakistan. There was a situation, at least in 2011, 10 or 12, 13, there was no practical investment from America and the Western world. America is not alone. America always gang up against some countries. This is American way of approach, that they don't fight alone. They go to United Nations Security Council, get the resolution passed, and ask all his allies, especially the NATO allies, or some of his close friends, to gang up against a country, against a nation. So once American has turn against Pakistan, it means the whole of the West is against Pakistan. The IMF against Pakistan. The World Bank is against Pakistan. The Paris Club is against Pakistan. So it means that it is not only America, one single country. They are in the habit of ganging up against some countries. So it means that in future also we should not expect that American will help Pakistan. But it does not mean that we should fight with America. America is still number one superpower. We have to maintain good working relation with America without expecting any good thing from America. Still, we have to keep the good working relation. That is for sure. The second thing that you told about the NGOs and American curriculum and women liberalization and society. Of course, American has their own ideology. They want to impose their ideology. They interfere in your domestic affairs. They want to change your lifestyle. They want to intervene in your religion, in your practical life, in their democratic process, in governance process. Chinese do not care about these things. They don't dictate their system on you. They don't impose their ideology on you. This is the big difference. The Western world believes that their system is ideal, so everybody else have to listen to them or follow their system. Either it is educational system or liberalism or woman status, whatever they believe, they want to impose on the other countries. China do not have such practices. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Zamir. One thing that America is so consistent is its relationship and approach towards dealing with Pakistan. And that is, as you mentioned, it's a transactional relationship. And that's not American fault, that's our own fault, that we keep on repeating mistakes, like we keep on repeating our old mistakes. Reminds me of a book written by President Ayub, Friends, Not Masters. So the message was given to them like in 1965, that we are the friends and treat us like a friends and not masters. But they are very clear about how they would treat us, how they would deal with us. So it's not their fault, they are clear. It's our fault that we again and again go into the trap and keep on doing the old mistakes. So it's time to make new mistakes rather than doing old mistakes. So, but that doesn't mean that because there are so many students listening, that doesn't mean that we should be hostile to any country in
Yes.
the world. And it's America is just as a country, as any other country in the world. We have to keep our own self-interest as a priority. And that's how we should be dealing with all other countries in the world. And with China, China is our strategic partner. So our future is tied with China. It's our it's our next door neighbor. So yes, we have a strategic partnership with China. So that thing should be very clear. Like we don't have to be hostile to any other, any nation in the world.
We have to find the way to coexist.
Yeah, coexist. Yeah, we have to find the exactly rightly put. So Khizr Zaman Saab is having a question. Please go ahead.
Sir, I would like to ask that how can we neutralize impacts of 40 years of continuous conflict in our region, particularly if we take examples related with Afghanistan?
Yes, that's an important question. I think you
Unavailability of sustainable peace.
Yeah, unrest in our neighborhood. That's an important thing. I think you are asking this question from Zamir Ahmad Saab.
I have not understood your question. Please repeat it again.
40 years of unrest in our neighborhood. How we have to cope up with this?
Of course, I think there is a problem. Yes.
We can hear you, sir.
Okay. I think the 40-year unrest is very unfortunate. This was not our war, and we should not be bothered about these things. And anyhow, our leadership has decided to be part of this war, and then we have to pay the price for that one. And still, it is a time that we should keep us neutral from such conflicts. China is the best role model for us. They have set aside all the differences and disputes with the neighboring countries and focused only on the economic development. So I think we should also follow the Chinese module that all the differences, all the disputes, all the confrontation, we keep distance from them. And we focus on development of our economy. Once our economy is strong enough, we will be in a position to negotiate or discuss with the counterparts. Under these circumstances, we should remain neutral is better.
Very rightly explained. Yes, that's very true. I mean, it's our fault that we had been engaging in unnecessary conflicts, and now we are paying the price for that. If our focus was to develop ourselves, then just like China or just like any other country in the Southeast Asia, like ASEAN countries, we have an example of ASEAN countries. We have an example of Singapore. So surrounded by big countries, big giants, India, China, but they are focused on their development. And see now where they are. Like they have huge GDPs, and their people are prospering, and they are setting an example for the world. Their GDP growth is even bigger than the European Union. That's exemplary growth. So we have an examples. Yeah. Any other question?
I want to share one thing here,
Yeah, please.
because that is related to topic. Once we are having an online meeting, there was a Central Asian ambassador in Pakistan. I forgot the name, or Kyrgyz or Kazakh, but I will share what he replied for a question same like this, that so many things are happening outside Pakistan, so that is doing impact. So what we will do, like Western media also demonizing Pakistan and China and so many countries. So his answer was one-liner. He told us that you should only eliminate your weaknesses, internal weaknesses. Then you will get the position when you can bargain with anyone in the world. Until you have the weakness in your own society, until then you don't have the right to blame anyone. What you have to do is the first eliminate your internal weaknesses. Stay united, stand united, and then you will be able to talk with the world on equal grounds. So I think I wanted to share.
Very rightly shared. One of the speaker also mentioned that putting our own house in order, that is the priority, and that should be the priority. Do we have any question, or we should? I think we are approaching the conclusion and closure of this session, and the amazing conversation that we had, and we learned a lot from our worthy guest speaker, Professor Zamir Ahmad Awan. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. And thank you so much for your thoughts. We always learn from you, sir, and it's always a pleasure to have you in our sessions and in our meetings, in our gatherings.
Thank you.
I think with this, we would close our today's session, and I really appreciate all the speakers, and I appreciate all the listeners as well for listening us so patiently. Azeem sir, with your permission, can I close this session?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So next. Tomorrow we are also having a session. Yeah, tomorrow we are also having a session, and then we will also have session next week. So thank you so much, everyone. Take good care of yourself. So bye bye from here. Tata. Bye bye.